Hello everyone, welcome back to Let's Play The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. In this episode, we're going to start off by going straight out the door to the Deku Palace here and making a hard right. I was gonna say left, actually I couldn't even decide if it was gonna be left or right, but anyway, it's alright. We need to come in here because there is a very easy to collect heart piece in the garden here. I guess this would be the inner garden. I'm not sure. Actually, yeah, the inner garden is the part, I guess, inside of the fence. And the outer garden is the place where we planted that bean. I was like mulling that over my head in that episode, and I couldn't decide which part was considered the inner garden, which part was considered the outer garden. But anyway, we need to collect a heart piece, and we could have seen this if I hadn't gone, you know, overboard with the James Bond segment I did in that one episode. We would have been able to look over and seen this heart piece, and luckily the Deku guards have placed themselves just right for me to be able to collect this. Once you collect it, if you want to collect those 15 rupees, that's up to you, but once you collect the piece of heart here, you are pretty much golden. But I'm gonna go ahead and play the Song of Soaring, which I'm sure I've used in previous episodes. I don't actually remember explaining it, but I'm sure I have. If not, basically, once you activate an owl statue, you can teleport to that owl statue, and that is what I'm going to do right now. Teleport to the Southern Swamp, because there is a couple of things, or there are a couple of things, that are actually a Woodfall. I don't even know. Woodfall is actually where I needed to go, but Southern Swamp came out of my mouth. But anyway, there are a couple of things that we need to take care of here in Woodfall. The first of which, I want to come over here and show you what is in this treasure chest. I always thought this was going to be so great, but all it is a blue rupee. It's worth 5 rupees. I was practicing for this episode, I should say, and I was trying to come up with a Breaking Bad joke here. 5 rupees, you remember? Actually, I don't know if I should get into this because it's kind of a big, I guess, spoiler for Season 5, so I'm not even going to get into that, but I was going to make a Breaking Bad joke. Just rest assured that it was right there on my brain. But anyway, after that, rupee, which probably isn't even required to get. I mean, we're gonna get probably maxed out on rupees fairly soon anyway. Actually not. Speaking of that, there's a lot of stuff that I'm gonna be spending my rupees on in this episode, so maybe it is a good thing that I got that. But let's go ahead and talk to our second Great Fairy, since we collected all 15 of these stray fairies in the Woodfall Temple. Oh, strong young one, I am the Great Fairy of Power. Thank you for returning my broken and shattered body to normal. As thanks, I grant you prowess with this new sword technique. And despite the fact that we are in our Deku form, we have the new spin attack, which I will show you after this dialogue is over. It appears that the Great Fairy does not care if we are in our Deku form or not. Come see me again whenever you are overcome by weariness. Alright, well now that she's done screaming, let's go ahead and take off our Deku Mask here. If we go ahead and spin around, we get an orange flame. It's not really a flame, I guess. I guess it's more of like an energy wave, or I don't even know what you would call it. But basically, it is a lot stronger than the blue one. And actually, I'm not even sure if it's technically stronger. I have to imagine it is. But you can easily tell that the radius of that attack is a lot larger, or longer, or wider, or whatever you want to call it, than the blue attack that we had before. But not only that, as if that's not enough. Actually, I think I might have explained this in the Woodfall Temple episode. I specifically do remember mentioning it. I'm not sure if I explained it too much or anything. But if you do the spin attack with the control stick and then pressing B at the right time, and by the way, might as well come over here and get this because we're on the way and it's a really good item, as you'll see as when I get out of the treasure chest. It is a heart piece. It's kind of a weird place for a heart piece, but anyway, if you spin around and then press the B button, you will do a spin attack that does not actually use any magic power, which of course is a very good thing. But I'm going to go ahead and play the Song of Soaring again and warp to Clock Town because it is almost 6 o'clock in the morning, which means, or when 6 o'clock in the morning rolls around, that is when the next day starts, and that is actually when nighttime ends, and that's when that moon turns into a sun, which I guess really just all ties together and tells you that it's day 2 after 6 o'clock in the morning. But before nighttime ends, there are a fair number of things that I need to take care of. Of course, I need to take off my mask, Or the fine fellow guarding the exit to Clocktown will not let me out. And you know, one thing I never really wondered, why are they guarding people going out and not the people coming in? You would think that would be a lot bigger problem, I guess. But on nights 1 and 2, from midnight to 6 o'clock in the morning, we have this guy over here in the rocks dancing. Let's go ahead and see what he has to say. I am no longer part of the living. My sadness to the moon. I haven't left my dance to the world. I am filled with regret. I am disappointed. Oh, moon, I have died. Oh, I planned to bring the world together and stir it into a giant melting pot with my dance. If only I had taught my new dance to someone. And the spirit dancer Kamaro was added to her notebook. I always thought this guy's story was really tragic, but let's go ahead and play the Song of Healing and heal his sorrows. Spread my dance across the world. Train its followers. I have taught it to you. Now make it into a popular dance craze. Oh, I don't know about that, Kamaro. I'll see exactly what I can do, but for that we get Kamaro's Mask. I am counting on you. I am counting on you. I always thought that translation business, first of all, it's kind of strange, but it's at least a little bit funny, especially that little bit at the end there. I'm going to go ahead and use the Song of Soaring once again. I feel like this is the 500th time I've used it in this episode already. The reason I'm going to be warping back to Clocktown and not just running back there is because in these cutscenes or whatever where you're flying back, time doesn't pass as far as I know, and we're getting dangerously close to 6 o'clock in the morning. So rather than run back and waste time, I'd rather just teleport back and not have to worry about wasting time. It looks like we've got about a little over half an hour of in-game time left, so we're probably not that much in danger, because what we need to do is right here in West Clocktown. I need to go ahead and put on the Kamaro Mask, and if you guys remember, Kamaro, before he died, said that he wanted to make his dance into a popular dance craze, so let's go ahead and see what we can do about that. Thank you for teaching us those steps. You are our master. I really don't want to be in this situation right now. We get a piece of heart for that though, so I guess that is good. The Rosa sisters have been added to our notebook, and that whole side quest has already been completed. Apparently we stole their hearts, which I guess is exactly what I was going for. I've never seen Link act quite like this before, so it's kind of cool to see him break out of his shell a little bit, I guess. The Kamaro Mask, by the way, and speaking of masks, we need to go to the laundry pool right now before daytime breaks, because that is where we're going to be getting yet another mask. But yeah, the Kamaro Mask was always kind of funny to me because first of all, the dancing motion, but also because it just kind of covers up your face. And then there's like a protrusion showing Kamaro above your head. So I thought that was kind of weird, but we're getting kind of close to the end of the first day. Luckily, we're right in front of the guy. La la la. They said it was much too loud when I practiced in my room. They got mad, sighed, now I'm sad. I'll just think about the past to keep my mind off the bad. Ah yes, I'll do that. Dear guest, long ago I was in an animal troupe, with dogs and donkeys and such. Why could a man join? That's because a man is an animal too, my boy. They were all great, but there was one thing I didn't like about it. Why was the dog the leader? Was it because something was wrong with me, sir? Oh, that dog was an amazing leader. He always had a stellar troop no matter what animals he had to work with. That's why I stole it. The dog's mask, I stole it. I wanted it because it was the leader's mask. But I no longer need it. I give it to my guest. I definitely, if I didn't want to be with the Rosa sisters, I definitely don't want to be around this guy right now, but we get the Bremen Mask. The leader was a good instructor. His members matured quickly and they became adults in an instant. Guru, the traveling musician, which is exactly the guy that taught, maybe not exactly the guy, but the analog to the guy that taught us about what was he taught? Oh, the Song of Storms, how could I forget that, in Ocarina of Time. In this game, he's actually lost his mind. I don't know exactly what was going on in that situation, but it's not something I want to be a part of. But we need to go ahead and sort of woodball because we need to go back to the Deku Palace, because if you guys remember at the end of the last episode, the Butler, I believe it was the Butler anyway, the Butler, regardless, is going to be part of this. The Butler told us that there is something that we can get from him at the Deku Palace, so I will meet you guys there. And here we are on day 2 in the Deku Palace, ready to take on the Deku Butler in a race. We actually have not learned that's what it's going to be yet. What a great way to start off, am I right? But we need to hop our way over to the left here, into the outer palace, I guess, the left outer palace. I think we had this discussion already in this episode. I do not believe that I showed off this part of the palace at any time in this Let's Play, but over here there is a sort of hidden passageway, I guess, if you want to call it that. But inside, you can see that the Deku Butler's up there, so let's go ahead and see what he has to say. Kyle, I am truly thankful for what you have done for the princess. As a sign of our gratitude, we Deku have prepared something that we think may assist you. I will lead you to it. Please follow me. I don't know why they couldn't just bring it to me, but I guess I'll play along. What we have to do here is a lot like the Dumpe race in Archery of Time at the end of the game, or in the adult portion of the game when he was a ghost. What did he do when he was a kid or whatever? I guess he did dig up the graveyard or something like that. I think we got a heart piece from Dumpe as a kid. It's been a while since I played Archery of Time, and even though I got 100%, I actually don't remember 100% of the things in that game. But anyway, we have to get to the end. Now right here, I'm going to go ahead and take off my Deku Mask and go to the right here, because there are 2 red rupees over here. Probably not entirely worth it, but I like to take a couple of risks every once in a while. What was that? I grabbed onto the ledge and Link just like completely suicided and fell off. I'll meet you guys back at that part in just a second. Well, that time apparently Link wanted to play along. I really do not know what happened. When I fell off, I didn't press the A button. I didn't press any button to make Link fall off. I guess I just fell at the wrong angle, and now I'm even going in the wrong direction. I do not believe that that's going to cause me to lose this race. I do believe that this is an easier race than the Dumpe race. In any case, I would really love to not have... I really thought I was going to die there as well. I'd really love to try to eliminate all of these little things that are happening to, you know, endanger my chances of winning the race. Overall, this is not that bad. I'm not even sure... There's a part later on, and this part's kind of hard, by the way. If you touch the fire in this part of the race, you will immediately restart. It's not like you can just go back to the beginning of this room or anything, even though I can't even think of a situation in which you could restart from the beginning of the room and that be fair, because the Deku Butler would be way far ahead of you anyway. But I forgot what I was going to say before that, and a lot of others, just a random boulder flying by. I don't think that can even hit you, but it kind of reminds me of Dark Souls in Sten's Fortress. If you guys remember what I'm talking about, that first time you see the boulder roll by, that's exactly what that reminded me of. I don't know if I said Dark Souls, that's where Sten's Fortress is from. But anyway, this part right here is not that bad. What I like to do, actually I think you might even have to do this. I know you can shoot that crystal right there with your Bubble Blast as a Deku, but I do not believe that you can make these jumps as Deku Link, which of course is why it's probably a good idea to turn into Human Link in that situation. Other than that though, I don't know if I mentioned this, Deku Link is actually a little tiny bit faster than Human Link, especially the twirling mechanic right here, the twirling technique. That actually, believe it or not, is faster than Link and his rolls. Well done, Kyle. Now, here's the item I promised. Please accept it. And for all that, we get the most useless mask in the entire game, the Mask of Sense, which lets us use our olfactory perception to sniff out mushrooms. Actually, when I see you, I'm reminded of my son, who left home long ago. Somehow I feel as if I am once again racing with my son. I am afraid I may have tried too hard to outrun you. As old as I am still a fast competitor, just like when I raced my son. Please forgive my rudeness. And he opens up one of these, like, teleport things, but that guy right there is probably... I just can't bring myself to explain this right now because I think it's just too much of a spoiler. I'll leave that for the end of the game. Just rest assured that everything he just said actually matters in a little slightly twisted sense, I guess. I will meet you guys in the southern swamp because we need to go there to do yet another minigame. And here we are back in the Tourist Information Center. I decided to pick it back up here because as Human Link, we need to go ahead and talk to Komei again. Oh, thanks for what you did back there. As a special just for you, I'll let you take this cruise for free. Oh, but wait. Yes, just as I thought. It seems the poison swamp has been cleaned up, so why not try something that's more interesting? How about a little game? I'll fly around in my broom and you try to hit my target. I'm sure. Tee-hee-hee. That's the way to go. But let me explain. You're not aiming for me with that bow, you're aiming for the target. If you hit me, I'll never forgive you. Those are high stakes games right there, but this minigame will yield us with yet another, or will provide us, I guess, it will yield yet another heart piece. So what we have to do is hit Komei. Alright, I already messed up the rules. You have to hit the target that Komei is holding 20 times, and I believe you can only hit Komei 10 times. So you gotta be kind of careful here, and I love how they don't tell you the numbers that you need, so you will be a little bit more careful, or just so you, maybe you won't even be more careful, I don't know. Anyway, this is a mini game that is very boring, so I will meet you guys at the end. $20, pretty good considering. Well, as I promised, here, take this. And as I promised, we get a piece of heart for completing that minigame. Don't really care what else she has to say. The thing about that minigame is, I don't know if I didn't really explain this. I didn't talk after I started, after I stopped talking. I guess that just makes so much sense. But after I got to 20, I just stopped even trying to shoot the target because I didn't want to accidentally hit Komei 10 times. At which point I would have had to restart the minigame. I think I might have explained that much. But yeah, that's why I just kind of stopped at 20 and started shooting in random directions. And in there, at some point, I do believe I shot the web entrance through the torch with a fire arrow. I made a makeshift fire arrow and opened up the spider house entrance. I think once you leave the area, though, I think it will cover itself back up. Now over here, we're going to be making our way into the first of two. Actually, it's kind of like the second of two, because the first one of which is in Clocktown. But anyway, here we are in the swamp shooting gallery, which I believe is a fairly tough minigame, so I hope I will be able to get it right on the first try. Hi, mate. How are ya? Want to play? And if we want to play, we have to pay 20 rupees. The rules to me game are a piece of cake. Shoot for the targets from atop the platform. You gotta hit them all. That's all there is to it. If you don't aim proper with control stick, you won't hit any of them. Are you ready, mate? I cannot believe I just got a perfect on the first try, even though I said when I came in here I wanted to get a perfect on the first try. That's just something you say. You never expect to get a perfect on the first try of this minigame because the controls are terrible, because the control stick's not exactly as accurate as you would probably expect it to be for this minigame, so that's actually kind of surprising that I got it. But what you need to do is get 2,120 points before the time bonuses. Well, that's pretty darn good, mate. Perfect. Here you go. Take this, mate. And for that, we get the large quiver, which means we can carry up to 40 arrows. Aye, tell your friends all about us, alright, mate? Well, I don't know about that, but we do need to play the game again, because if we get a perfect score yet again, of course we got to pay an extra 20 rupees yet again. We have to get another perfect score to get another heart piece. The LP gods must really love me right now, because 2 perfects in a row for me is absolutely unheard of. I'm almost speechless at this point. I really thought this was gonna take like an hour of in-game time, or maybe that's an hour of real time, I guess, to complete all the trials that we had to go through in this first shooting range. Of course, there's still one that we're gonna have to do in Clocktown, like I mentioned, and that was a little bit harder, but I still did not expect to have so much success on this one. I guess he's just going to say the exact same thing that we did, or that he said the first time. But now that we got the perfect score for the second time, we get our next piece of heart. And I do not believe that we will ever have to come back to the swamp shooting range, which of course is a very good thing, because it's kind of like a money pit at some points. But speaking of pits, I will meet you guys at the next place that we have to go. Now over in this patch of grass, if you look very closely, you will see these butterflies, and if I can, there we go. There's a hole right near the butterflies, and that's how you're supposed to know, I guess, that that hole is there. But I want to go ahead and examine this enemy right here. If I can go ahead and lock on, there we go. Don't tell me you didn't know about the pea hat. Just remember that its root area is soft. What I like to do to take out this enemy is just shoot the, like Tattle said, shoot that little area underneath the pea hat, which I really want to make a statistics joke, but I can't really think of one right now, you know, considering pea hat is a really big statistics term. But anyway, this is the only pea hat in the entire game as far as I know, so I thought it was kind of cool how they just hid it in a pit here randomly in Termina Field. I'm not sure how exactly you're supposed to know that this pit is here, other than the fact that it is kind of guarded by those butterflies, but I'm not sure how you would even ever see those butterflies in the first place. Regardless though, we get a piece of heart, and that is yet another heart container added up there in the top left. I know it seems like I'm speeding up things a lot and kind of cutting some stuff out, but there is a lot of stuff that I want to do before I get to the next area of the game. So I will meet you guys in West Clocktown. And here we are inside the Swordsman School. Now, for some reason, you can bang the gong with your sword, but let's go ahead and talk to the Master. When you sharpen your sword skills, your mind is sharpened naturally. With the moon getting closer in recent days, the number of the weak and frightened has increased. But when you attain a master's level of training, as I have, there is nothing to fear. By learning at this training center, you too can attain such a strong mind and will. Will I try it? Now, the thing is, the novice course is a training sort of course where it's kind of like a tutorial, whereas the expert course is where we're going to actually get a reward for completing the little minigame here. We have to get a perfect 30 points to get the piece of heart is basically what we're going to be getting here. Now, to actually get the maximum amount of points here, you have to do jump slashes for all of the logs to come out of the ground. And you can't just willy-nilly jump slash, in my experience anyway. One way I found to make it really easy is to lock onto the log, wait just a second so Link will kind of situate himself a little bit better, like aim himself at the log a little more. Otherwise, you're going to kind of jump off to the side, and these things actually are on a sort of a time limit, so they don't just wait for you to hit them. Eventually, they will sink back down to the ground, but we only have one more here, and on the first try, we get 30 out of 30. Overall, that's not really that bad of a minigame. That was actually pretty easy, and I don't really know why I didn't get it while I was still in Clocktown, but in any case, that is all there really is to do here at this time. On day 3 at night, we're going to be coming back here and talking to that master. Probably one of my favorite scenes in the entire game, and you'll see why, and I think you'll agree maybe when we get there, especially if you remember the speech that he just gave to us. Keep that in mind for when we come back here. But now there's one more thing I want to do before I go to the place where I want to end the episode. The final thing that I want to do in this episode is go to the archery range, and there is, like I said before, there are 2 archery ranges. We already did the one in the swamp. Now we're doing the one in the town, and the one in the town is a little bit harder to me because the first time we do the minigame, we have to get 40 Octorok shot. And by the way, we can only shoot the blue ones and not the, or we can only shoot the red ones and not the blue ones. But after we get 40 for the first time, we will get the largest quiver. After that, we have to get 50, get a perfect score to get a piece of heart. So hopefully, I will be able to do this. Now, I'm going to go ahead and edit this somehow because I know I'm not going to get this one on the first try. Well, there's 40. I guess getting 40 was a little bit easier than I kind of made it out to be there, but now I'm not going to get 50 here, I bet. Even if I did get 50, I don't think you can get both of the rewards at the same exact time, but I did get 45, which is a respectable first shot at this minigame. I guess shot could be a pun there if you really tried hard enough, but like I said before, I do need to try this once again. I can try this game 4 times. At, you know, each game, or each try costs 20 rupees, and I had 80 overall, so we get 4 tries at this. If I don't get it within 4 tries, I'm probably not gonna worry about it right now. I'll probably just come back later, because as you can tell, it is already noon on the second day, and I really want to get through the second dungeon in the game before this first cycle is over. But on the off chance that I get this on the first try, which I really doubt it, I'm going to go ahead and edit this and show you the winning one, because this is one that I'm sure is going to take me a long time. Even though there's only 4 tries, each one of these minigames takes quite a bit of time. Oh, really? Oh, come on! Finally! I got all 50 of them. I didn't actually fail that many times, really. And by the way, I have 30 rupees left because after one of them I get a purple rupee, which is 50 rupees. So I could have even tried yet another time if I had failed that one, and that was my 4th try right there. But there was so many dumb ways that I failed that. Like, there was one I shot a guy right in the face who was right in front of me. Oh my goodness. At least, as far as I can remember, there are some other things that we're going to have to shoot with a little bit of precision later on, like just actually the shop right next to that archery range right there. But there's not that many things that we're going to have to shoot that we're going to have such ridiculous accuracy for like 2 minutes straight. If I found in that minigame, if you fail, you're probably, I mean, of course, if you fail, you're done. But if you accidentally just miss one shot on one guy, you're probably not going to have a good time. But I kind of want to get off the subject of the archery range because over here there is like a scale on the wall or whatever. I'm not even sure. You know what? I'm not musically inclined whatsoever. I have no idea what you would call those, like bars or something like that. If anybody knows or anybody has any, you know, musical knowledge, whatever that is. Anyway, what that is a collection of random notes that if you play, you get rupees. And sometimes it'll actually have like songs from the first game on it, which I always thought was kind of cool. Unfortunately, that time, I don't think it had anything of note. But to get into the next area, we need to shoot this piece of ice up here twice with the arrow, which is why you can't come in here without glitches until after you beat Woodfall, because you won't have the bow. Actually, theoretically, I guess you could go get the bow and then come over here. But we're gonna need bombs, by the way, because there is ice, or I guess they're kind of like snowballs that we are going to have to blow up to progress. And I like how that Tektite dropped like 15 rupees in that case. I'm not sure why. It's a pretty easy enemy to defeat. But I guess you could say that this area is the land of the ice and snow, and there are actually hot springs that flow throughout this area. So we're going to be getting to those pretty soon. Unfortunately, the Megaton Hammer is not in this area. Actually, the Megaton Hammer is not even in the game. Or we could make a really, really elaborate, well-drawn-out pun about the Immigrant Song by Led Zeppelin, which I'm sure half of you have probably heard. If not, Led Zeppelin Immigrant Song is probably one of my favorite songs. It was on, I think, it was on School of Rock, if you are, if you watch movies more than you listen to music. But anyway, here we are in the Mountain Village. I'm actually going to make a straight beeline for the owl statue and save, and that's where I'm going to end this episode. But that house over there to my right, for example, is a place here in the Mountain Village where we're going to be able to upgrade our sword later on. In the next episode, if I remember, I'll give you a tour of the area a little bit more, but for right now, I think we're over like half an hour at this point. For me, we're definitely over like 45 minutes at this point, but I'm not sure how long it's going to be after I edit all, the crap footage, if you will, down. But anyway, now that we've activated this owl statue, I will be able to warp back here anytime I want. I want to thank you guys for watching this episode of Let's Play The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, and I hope to see you guys back for the next episode.